Okay, so we are back to Tehilim 15. Okay, everyone just glance down for 1 second. That's where your expectations should be. Okay, down because because what happened was two things happened, and this is not by way of excuse. This is just by way of explanation. So I had a whole thing worked out last time, and I was like, oh, it's such a good idea. I'll remember it, And 2 weeks and one chag later, I don't remember anything. Also, I did not end up learning with Ken on Sunday, so we could not. I didn't have my usual support system. So what it means is we're gonna work it out live, okay? Which is fine because it's been 2 weeks and we're not here to impress anybody. Okay, okay. So let's review the pasukim, which were very. The parak was very short. And also, I say it's a different structure than all of Tehillim. Some of you wanted to cram it into the old pivot system, but okay, here we go. All right, so I tried to clean up the translation here, so I might still modify it. Mizmor David, a psalm of David, and for the third week in a row, we forgot to look up Mizmor David and David Mizmor. I think I was right last time. I think it's Mizmor David means he got Ruach HaKodesh and then said it, as opposed to David Mizmor, which means David started off and then ended up as a Mizmor with Ruach HaKodesh. All right, Hashem, mi yagur ba'ohalacha. Okay, Hashem, who will sojourn in your tent? Yagur, gerus is temporary, okay, transient dwelling. Mi yishkon b'har kachecha, who will dwell on your holy mountain? All right, that's more of a permanent thing. So here's the answer, 11 things. Holich, or at least according to the way the Gemara counts it. Holich tamim, one who walks tamim. Now, I forgot if I said this last time because I don't remember anything from the last time. Tamim either is an adjective or a noun. Okay, so I translate it as a noun, one who walks with tamimus, but you could also say one who walks tamimly, I don't know if it makes a difference, but the Mefarshim point out. So tamimus literally is unblemishedness or perfection, completeness, simplicity, wholeness, wholesomeness. Okay, there's different translations here. So one who walks with tamimus, poel tzedek, and who acts righteousness or enacts righteousness. I'm not sure how to translate it. V'dover emes bilvavo, and speaks truth in his heart. Lo ragal al lashon, there's no ragal, which is some sort of bad speech like lashon hara, rochilus, whatever, on his tongue. Lo asa l're'ehu ra'a, there is no, he doesn't do evil to his fellow. V'cherpa lo nasa al krovo, and he does not bear disgrace on his close one, or he does not place disgrace onto his close one. That's machlokas. Nivze be'inav nimas, one who is disgraceful in his eyes is nimas, is disgusting. The es yirei Hashem yechabed, and he honors those who fear Hashem. Nishba lahara v'lo yamir, he swears even, so if you read it, it sounds like he swears to evil, but all the Mefarshim say it means he swears to some ra to himself. Okay, so his detriment, his displeasure, and does not change, does not go back on it. Kaspa lo nasan b'neshek, he does not give his money with interest. V'shochat al naki lo lakach, and he does not take a bribe for an innocent person. Ose ela lo yimod olam, one who does these will not falter forever. Okay, so those of you who wanted to say that this is a pivot said, oh, the pivot is from the question and then the answer, and the quality that is being highlighted and then all the stuff in the middle and then the quality at the end. I don't think we gain anything by saying pivot. I think that's just forcing it. So whatever, I don't think we have to disagree, but it is a question and then an answer, and then it's saying something about this guy. Okay. All right, so our questions were, we made some observations that this is a portrait of a character by listing the good things he does and the bad things he doesn't do. Okay, fine. And then these seem to be judgely qualities. Okay, like the dedication to truth and the righteousness and the not taking bribes. So that was just another observation. Now here are our questions, and I did not go back and re-edit these, so we'll hope they're good. One, how is this a mizmor? It doesn't seem to be praising Hashem, and the Targum still translates this as tushbachta Hashem, I think. Let's just make sure that I'm not having a falsehood on my tongue. Targum says, tushbachta l'David, right? So this should be a praise. Doesn't really sound like a praise of Hashem. Okay. Two, what are the oholacha and the harkachecha? What does it mean to sojourn and dwell there? Are these two different things or two descriptions of the same thing? Three, how exactly would we characterize this type of person? Is there a term for this? Or can we only say that he sojourns in the tent of Hashem? Like, it doesn't call him a tzaddik, right? What exactly is this? What's the unified idea exactly here? Four, what is the relationship between these 11 qualities in the opening question? Okay, meaning why are these 11 needed to do the stuff in the first pasuk? 5 or second pasuk, whatever it is. 5. What does it mean? Lo yimot lolam, and especially leolam, will not falter forever. All right. So what is that? And is that, it sounds pretty extreme. 6. What does the last pasuk have to do with the first? Are they two facets of the same thing, or do they have a causal relationship? Meaning that because he dwells in the what? I remember that as casual. Oh yeah, we're keeping things casual. Yeah. If is it saying that someone who dwells in sojourns in the tent of Hashem, whatever, will not falter, or and then is one the cause of the other, or are they both stemming from a higher cause? 7, what is the relationship between the 11 qualities within themselves? Is there a hierarchy? Is there an order? Like, do they build on each other? Are there groupings? Why these 11? 8, is there a reason why the more intellectual qualities aren't emphasized here, right? These are more morality based, seemingly. 9, who is the opposite of this person, and why can't he dwell, or why will he falter, right? And we're not going to go through and say the opposite of all these things necessarily, but that should be just a question we have here. 10, do the tenses matter, right? So I said you could play fast and loose with the tenses. Yagur is future tense, and Yishkon is future tense. Holech, Poel, Dover, present tense. Lo Ragal, Lo Asa, Lo Nasa are past tense. Nivzav of Nimas is just passive. Yereshem Yichabed, future. Nishba is present. Lo Nasan is passive. So I think they don't really matter. Yeah.
I just find it funny that the first qualities mentioned here seem like very high level.
Yeah.
Comprehensive things like holy poetic.
Yeah.
And by the end, it's very particular things that are
open
and bare.
Let's add that question here. Right. Okay. So let's add the question here to the 7, which is moreover, some of these things seem very high level and general, and others seem super specific and literal halacha, right? Yeah. Okay. And then the last question was, what does it mean? This is a bit more particular question. What does it mean? I accidentally printed 2 sets, which worked out. What does it mean? Shochad al naki lo lakach, right? He doesn't take a shochad on a naki. I mean, isn't shochad in general usher to take? Okay.
And neshech also.
And neshech also, correct. Yeah. But does it say neshech? Right there, it does say it universally.
What's that?
In other words, I'm saying it should just say shochad lo lakach, right? But it says shochad al naki lo lakach. Yeah, right. Okay. Okay. Any other questions that came up now as we're going through this the second time? Okay, I'm starting to feel like I remember this now. Yeah.
Is this list like comprehensive? Like, does it encompass?
Oh yeah. Okay, that's another good question here. Right. Okay. So why specifically these 11? Are these comprehensive? Yeah. Tamar?
I just a request. I know that you paste the questions in the chat at some point, but can you paste the Tehilim in the translation also?
Oh sure. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
1 second. Even the Hebrew?
I would like to have it here. I mean, I could open it up somewhere else, but it's nice to have it.
Yeah, Chaim.
Yeah, just like a note version. At least pasuk 2, 3, and 4 are in groups of 3.
Right.
I don't know, like, if it's just a poetic thing or if
it's
a point there.
Right. Yeah, that's the type of thing. I mean, I think it's a good observation. My inclination is to say that, like, that's a normal pasuk length,
I'm also just wondering if, like, that's maybe giving some sort of, kind of like Yaakov was saying, it's like maybe these are like 3 categories in a sense, or like there's a relationship between the 3 of them in each pasuk, and then there's an overarching theme of like maybe it's like a hierarchy.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
So every pasuk is like that.
Well, one of them has to not be 3, right? Because there's 11 qualities total.
Hey
is 2. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I said 3 and 4. I mean, 5 it seems to be like it might be.
Right. There's still 3 clauses, even though the last one's not one of the yeah. My guess is it's poetic. I would not walk in with the assumption of starting like of the interrelationship between like the I don't know. I'm not gonna say do whatever you want. My intuition is that's good. It's already too much for me, so I'm gonna just start off with like just thinking about it. Yeah, Yaakov.
What was the Gemara on this?
Yeah, so we did the Gemara at the end, which was that there are all right, there are Taryag mitzvahs that were said to Moshe at Sinai, and then David HaMelech came and reduced it to 11. And Rashi said that basically like people were not so righteous and like they couldn't handle all of them, so he reduced it to 11, and then I think it was Yeshayahu who reduced it to 6, and then almost to 3. Yeshayahu again to 2, and then Habakkuk was 1. Yeah, I forgot who said what, but those are the numbers. Yeah.
Was the one
No, it was Sadiq be'emunaso Yechia. Yeah, yeah. So I mentioned. I also forgot to mention this, by the way. I do want to finish this tonight. We have one more Tehilim shiur next week before the end of the year. So if we don't finish this, then we'll have to do this next time. But if not, then we'll decide what to do. Maybe we can do the Gemara. I don't know. I mean, it's still an interesting Gemara, but maybe that's like a whole like weeks-long thing. I don't really know. Okay, so should I remind us of our approaches last time, or should we do fresh, or what?
I'm biased. I wasn't here last time.
Oh yeah, you are. Okay, I'm also biased because I don't want to go back to last time. So let's do. Okay. I think we have to approach this differently than we usually do. Okay, usually we try to figure it out on our own. Okay, and we did have theories. We were confining our theories to like, what's the overall question? I think what we need to do is, because we can't really get ideas from here without going through each of the particulars, I think we need to commit to one approach to the overall question and then read Mefarshim for each of the things in order to get a picture. I don't think we can like just figure it out on our own. So the two best candidates I read last time, but I'm gonna read them again and then we'll vote about who we do. Okay, they are. Oh, you know what? I forgot to bust out the Tehilim. I don't have enough copies for everybody. We'll see if I even have. Where I put them. Is this one? Oh, they're in my backpack. I can't find them. Well, I guess I'll just have to have them on the screen. There is, if someone really wants it really badly, there's 2 copies of Meiri on Tehilim in the base of the clear right there. Sorry, whose phone that was.
That was my phone.
Okay.
Is it still plugged in?
Is it still plugged in? Negative. Now it is. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So so we'll have to just look on the screen here. Sorry about that. Okay. So we're just do the Meiri opening and the Radak opening, and then we'll vote. Okay. Meiri opening says what?
Those are both really good.
I know. Well, yeah. Well, you haven't seen them yet. As Mefarshim, they're 2 good choices.
Yeah,
Okay. Kavar bi'arnu bi'al dusenu b'chibur hateshuva. We've explained in our youth in the chibur teshuva. Oh, and Oren was there for this in the afternoon. Okay. I said this last time. Meiri wrote a book on teshuva. Okay. I don't have a copy of it, so I was looking in Yeshiva's copy to look up this reference, which I couldn't find. And I'm looking, and I see the chibur teshuva, and then he has an entire treatise called Shever Gaon, breaking of the ego.
Whoa.
And it's the second chelik of chibur teshuva, which I just didn't know that existed. And like, I love the Meiri, and I'm like, that would be an interesting thing to learn on a long time basis. Like, you know, so, but apparently that exists. And it's like, when you find out that a whole book by one of your favorite Rishonim like exists that you didn't know about, like that's very rare. I know Torah always like releases new books from my favorite Rishonim, but what was that?
On a topic like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, Isaiah?
Does all Torah not have Meiri on?
All Torah doesn't, and neither does Faria, and neither does Bar Ilan. The only place that has it is the weird MG Keter, I think. I think MG Keter has it, but yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've explained in our youth in the chibur teshuva shemi geder bal hateshuva umitanaav, that one of the part of the definition of a bal teshuva and one of the preconditions is liknos la'atmo techunos chadashos b'hasaros midos megunos, is acquiring new qualities, presumably positive qualities, in his removal of the negative qualities. So teshuva is not just to remove the negative; you also have to build positive qualities. Salud. Even in things that are not a complete avera. Uvakinyan kol mida meula, and in acquiring all good midos. Even things that are not a specific mitzvah. And in chasing after actions of chesed beyond the letter of the law. So too, any person who wants to perfect himself to the utmost perfection needs to grab onto these paths. So in a word or in a sentence, what would you say Meiri is saying the theme of this parak is? So it's really, it sounds like he's saying it's a condition of tshuva, right? Not tshuva itself. Yeah, and
avoiding midos and mikudos.
And
Still in midos.
and what kind of midos? I mean, you can get that from the word it says, but sounds like he's saying the emphasis is on lifnim yishur sadin, right? Things that are not a specific mitzvah and things that are not a specific avera, but going beyond the letter of the law. And I can't remember if I mentioned this last time because I don't remember anything from last time, which is when he gets to neshech, he says, this is Isser D'Oraisa, but it can't be what this is talking about because this is talking about lifnim yishur sadin, and then he reinterprets it as a midah. Okay.
Don't bite anybody.
Not that kind of neshech. I mean, good principle. If you bite people, then you probably got midos issues. Okay, so he's learning this about midos. Okay, and midos in the realm of like ethical midos. Okay, for like your for lifnim yishur sadin. Okay, so hold that thought. Now let's read the and he says that the Hashem yigor b'olecha, mihu sheyachol lamod batuach, who can stand secure, lioso min hagarim b'oholo, who can be one of the people who sojourn in his tent. Min hashochni b'makom kadsho, ratzlomar hadevekim bo uv'mechitzaso yisala, people who are clinging to God and in God's realm. Okay, but the implication is that's an olam hazeh. Okay, in contrast, look at the Radak. Now he's using Shemayim here, not the sky. Those are astronauts. These are not required to be in the NASA program, but this is a Shemayim in the sense of footnote clarifies Olam HaMalachim HaNeshamos, the non-terrestrial world, right? In terms of like existent metaphysical existences. The Kina Osan Ba'ohel Hashem V'Har HaKodesh V'Hu Har HaMoria Shesham Beis HaMikdash. So the kinui is the literal reference is the Beis HaMikdash and the Ohel Hashem, but that's a metaphor for the Olam HaMalachim, just like we use Gan Eden as a mashal for the non-physical Olam Haba in Rambam world. Because Mikdash is the highest place on earth, the most exalted place on earth. They also call it a Heichal, Kamosh Amar, Hashem Beheichal Kadsho, Hashem B'Shemaim Kiso, Kamosh Pirashnu, Yishma Beheichal Koli. Okay. Here's what he says the theme is that's talking about the higher neshama. Okay, what do you think he means by higher neshama?
Like the intellect?
Yeah, the intellect. Okay, as opposed to what though?
The animal neshama?
Yeah, right, as opposed to animal neshama, right? So you've got the nefesh habahamis, which is like your instinctual, which is called nefesh, but this is the higher one, which is agrees hachelik halukish of Adam, the divine element of man, hachachma, right? Is a chachma. Okay, v'amar. Someone who does these actions in his life, tishkon nishmaso b'makom hakavod achar moso. His soul will be in the place of kavod after death. Yeah.
Not to get way too ahead of myself here, but it makes now the last part of the
yes.
Sense.
Yeah. No. Right. Well, go ahead. Say.
Oh, because the whole question is, what does it mean? Olam.
Right.
We say that it's talking about olam haba, and somebody who does all these things to perfect themselves will have an eternal life. Right.
So the olam, you of course you're going to falter. Well, you can't not falter forever in this world because you're going to die. Not that that's faltering, but it can't be forever. So yeah, it's olam haba, and also someone else pointed out last time. Or maybe one of the Mefarshim pointed out, Yagur ba'ohalacha is alluding to Olam Hazeh because it's temporary, and Yishkon, Shochin is like a permanent residence in Har Kachecha. I mean, the Radak saying that both of them are talking about Olam Haba, but yeah. So the thing that intrigues me about this is that, I mean, if I asked you, not necessarily as members of this yeshiva, but I said, how do you get into Olam Haba? What's your go-to answer?
Do mitzvahs.
Really? Oh wow! Okay, this is different then. Okay. Okay. Wow. I'm actually a little. I don't know if I should be proud or disappointed.
You're not gonna be right.
What did you say? Okay, you did Hashem. Okay, that's also good. I mean, that's correct. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem l'chelik l'olam haba. Yeah, and what does that mean? The Ikarim. Okay, right? The Ikarim, right? Now, I understand not everyone holds by the Ikarim. Everyone holds by the Mishnah, though, right? And the Mishnah is where those who hold by Ikarim get the Ikarim from. And I said in this yeshiva because we learn some Rambam sometimes, and like, it's Radak is even though this term didn't exist back then, but the Radak was a staunch Maimonidean. So what intrigues me about this parak is this parak does not seem like an outline of the Yidgum Ikarim, nor does it seem confined to Yedias Hashem, nor does it seem to be about specific mitzvahs. So like, I like the Meiri. I mean, I'm kind of tipping my hand here about what I want, but the Meiri, and by the way, the Meiri is great on this, by the way. The Meiri has a lot of good stuff. Yeah, he's a lot of good stuff in this, but like, the thing that intrigues me is like, how do you get into Olam Haba by following this script, So what do you want to vote for? Yeah.
I have a theory though, based on like just an overarching theory based on the Gemara. If the Gemara says this is David's, condensement of the entire Torah,
Yeah.
I can understand that.
You can understand that this is about Olam Haba.
I can understand that this could be a path to get to.
Yeah,
Olam Haba.
that's understandable. Right.
All the
Right.
mitzvos, I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
I'll do all the mitzvos.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say, by the way, that the Gemara, you asked me about what the Gemara says. So we read through the Gemara, and the Gemara, it says, David reduced them to 11, and then it quotes the whole parak, and then it darshans every single one. Okay. But the only thing it doesn't darshan is the pasuk of so it doesn't give us a clue as to what that means, but it explains all the other ones. Yeah, Isaiah?
I mean, just maybe recording a little bit about what you said about the Ikarim.
Yeah.
Like, if you believe in the Ikarim, but like you didn't let that affect
Right.
your behavior, then I mean, either like do you really believe in the Ikarim, or like it just seems like there's something lacking with that.
Okay, right. I agree with you, but the Rambam doesn't agree with you, right? So the Rambam, and this is the thing that people don't like, is after the Yigum Ikarim, the Rambam says, I'm just reading from here because this is a good translation in Kafech. He says that once a person has established all these yisodos, all the ikarim, and his emunah in them is genuine, then he enters into Klal Yisrael. Then we are obligated to love him and to have compassion on him and to do everything God commanded in terms of love and brotherhood. And even if he does any of the averos because of his taiva and he was overpowered by his yetzer, he is punished according to the greatness of the magnitude of his rebellion, and he has a chelek, right? So a lot of people don't like that because they say that, well, really, you like if you do all the averos, that are listed in this parak, because you're overwhelmed by your yetzer, but you just have these immunos, then like you get Olam Haba, and the Rambam saying yes. Yeah.
But even if he says yes, that it's a chelik, but it doesn't have to be equal chelik. Like
no, it's definitely not equal, right? But he's at least the Radak at face value seems to be saying that this is how you get into Olam Haba. So maybe we'll have to see what he says, because I may or may not have read all of the Radak. Okay, I read all the Meiri, but I didn't know if I read all of Radak. All right, so what do we want to do?
Well, you have to say one, then we already have.
yeah.
What was it?
So you have to say one, all for whatever.
Okay, all votes for Meiri. One, okay, yeah. Sorry, Meiri. Oh, two, okay. All right, yeah. So Meiri is worth going through on your own, but let's do the Radak. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm more excited about the Radak. You can't tell. Okay, so let's see here.
This is why the Rosh Hashanah was to vote last.
I know. I should have had a Maturgaman like talk about the Radak on my behalf. So what we're gonna do is I made a little grid here. Not the Gon Rav Yosef Yov. Okay, little figurine. We should totally market those. What we'll do is we'll read the Radak and then summarize it for each of the things so that we can like look at it as a glance. Okay. So let's see here. Holech Tamim. And again, I realize this is not the way we usually learn it. I think we're really beholden to the Mefarshim here because like we can just speculate all we want about what each of these means, but I don't trust my speculations in these, so I trust the Radak. Im Tamim hu Torah, if Tamim is an adjective, Rutzono Lomar, meaning to say Holech b'derech Tamim. Okay, he walks in a way that is Tamim. Kamo holech b'derech tamim hu yashar seni, v'im hu shem, or if it's a noun, kamo im be'emes u'v'tamim, if in truth and in wholesomeness. Ritzono lomar holech b'tmimus, meaning he walks with tmimus. Again, I don't know the difference really. Kamo v'ani b'tumi elech, v'ani ne'echad. Oh, it's the same thing. Great. Okay. V'tamim hu mishi yisasek b'inyane ha'olam hazeh b'derech tmimus. Okay, so this is someone who walks in the matters of Olam Hazeh in a manner of timimus, which we won't translate to see if we get this. Shelo ya'amik b'machshavto b'tachbulos ha'olam. He doesn't go into depth with his machshavos in the strategies of the world. What do you think that means? And timimus, again, to me, if I had to say timimus, it sounds like on the side of like innocence, like, or like, or simplicity. I mean, the opposite of politician. I mean, the politician is the one who's right. Okay, so one thing, yeah, one possibility of what it means to be ya'amik b'machshavto b'tachbulos olam is like machinations and like strategizing to like manipulate people and stuff. That's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
I feel like you could also say like strategy specifically for like physical pleasures and stuff like that.
Okay, right. So yeah. So the olam would include in there. I'm gonna go with Ariel because I know Ariel's in the car and I don't want him to crash. Yeah, Ariel.
Hey, Scott. I'm just wondering, is he saying like it's like an ish tam?
I mean, yes, but that's kind of part of the question about what do we mean by tam here. Yeah.
I'm just wondering. Do you think like the Mishlei definition of a tam will work here or not?
I don't think so, and I don't really want to try that one out here for now.
Okay.
I mean, not that it's like I have anything against it, but I just don't want to complicate things by bringing in like all of Mishlei. Yeah.
I'm just
I know. Yeah, it could be Mishlei. Yeah, Tamar.
This is maybe related to what someone said about not being like doing tachbulos for physical things. I guess it sounds a little bit like, when you really value like squeezing every last drop out of like your, I don't know, social gain and your physical pleasures and everything, then you could be involved in tachbulos versus like, if something is good enough, you don't have to do that. Maybe it's like indicative of that.
Am I understanding you correctly that that's like a, I don't know if you want to frame it as like a quantitative thing, but like in other words, there's a certain thing where people go to the nth degree to try to like, obtain every success, as opposed to being content like something like Mechelko or being content with like your needs or whatever. Is that?
Yeah, I would say there's a qualitative aspect also, I think, which is like doing the activity of maximizing, which requires tachbulos versus not doing that.
Oh, so in the Tim Ferriss interview with I forgot who he interviewed. Derek Sivers, whatever. It's called The Unoptimized Life. And he advocates for a life where you don't optimize things. And I thought it was a very good perspective. And like, it's related to like what you're saying, like we're in a world which is striving for like optimizing everything, and like you can't. So why are you trying? It's gonna be impossible. So let's go David, Isaiah, and Oren. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. When you read that line, I had like a shoot moment. Not the way Tamar was saying of like when I'm actually
he got me. Yeah.
Yeah. Not like actually like there at the pleasure.
Yeah.
Like maximizing that. But definitely like the yami b'machshavto, the tachbulos ha'olam. Definitely like a lot of times not actually when the pleasure is in front of you or something like that. I mean, I'm also thinking the way I'm saying pleasure is what I'm using here. That a lot of time beforehand, there's like a lot of like daydreaming or fantasizing or like thinking of ways or like having those tachbulos of how I can both like when I'm at that pleasure to then like in the moment I'll just get whatever I can get, but like, beforehand planning that. And also I think there's just a lot of clouding of thinking, so like in shiur and then like these things just start coming, then it just kind of messes up everything, just like finds its way into everything if that's like a thinking.
Yeah,
so I think that's probably my first thought. And I'd also just say there definitely is like a certain like lock or like a something like it has over a person if it's constantly coming up in one's head.
So I'm going to put into my own words what I'm hearing you say, and again, tell me if this is not what you're saying. That it does I don't know. It's symptomatic, but it's also causal of like an energy suck. Like your energy is just drawn into that, and you're investing your energy into that, and it draws you. But so it's like a pull.
Anything else that you're doing, it's always going to be a little bit messed up from this.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's good. Also, yeah, Isaiah.
I'm just observing that it's interesting that Derek Tamimus to him means to not be overly involved, to not have
right.
Yeah. Like because to me Tamimus like sounds like a complete removal.
Right.
He's sort of implying that you are involved. You're just not like engrossing yourself fully.
So that actually I think is a refutation of what you said earlier, right? Yeah. Right. Meaning that if it's talking about being involved in scheming, like in manipulation, so then there's no derech tamimus way to do that. But if he's talking about involvement in the derech olam, and he's doing the derech olam, he's doing the olam in the derech tamimus, not in the derech of ma'amik machshavto. So then I think it's more along the lines of what other people are saying. That's good. Yeah, Oren.
This isn't what I want to say, but just I don't know. What does yamik mean?
To go into depth in, to go into depth with. Yeah.
Okay, so
amok is deep, amik is valley. Yeah.
Whereas the other guy, the non-Tom, would like impose their will onto the world and onto reality.
Yeah.
Tom is going to just accept reality for what it is and accept what God has given to them. They're not going to impose their own machinations or devices onto reality or life. They're just going to
so I agree with that description. I think that description I think that's slightly broader than I agree that that's a quality, because to me that strikes me as slightly broader than what he's describing here. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Tamar, and then I want to show you. I want to go back to what Tamar said earlier. Yeah, Tamar.
Oh, just a question, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like we're developing a somewhat like cohesive idea here, but I'm not seeing how does it connect to ideas of like wholesomeness or innocence or perfectness or anything like that. I'm not seeing those words.
Okay.
Sort of.
Right. Good question. So I don't know if this is gonna. Yeah. W, you want to answer? Yeah.
Oh, not necessarily an answer, those might have something to it.
Yeah.
I think there's also someone who does this. There's like a certain fun or like an enjoyment in the planning itself. And I think that then, like, if you're literally like planning at this point for the sake of that planning, there isn't a like finding that to be a good.
Yeah.
I think that can be in some way like a block or something that's like preventing someone from moving toward perfection.
Right.
If that's like this is a good that like just planning out things and like.
Yeah. Right. So that's pointing out that there's two elements that draw you in. There's the thing itself, and then there's the planning for it, which is a draw in your mind as well. Yeah, Isaiah?
Yeah, I kind of think that the perfection. Well, I think it's called a Talmud because it has like a certain perfection. I think that the perfection is what Oren was describing of like, being able to not be like involved, like emotionally invested in like physical pleasure, but still partake in them. Yeah. So maybe that's fine. Okay. Yeah. I think that's so. What I associated to, and this I think is most in line with what Tamar said earlier, is the Rambam's description of the everyone can be a Levi at the end of Sefer Zra'im, last halacha. So lo shevet Levi bilvad ala kol ish v'ish mikol b'lai ha'olam, any person from any human being, asher nadva rucho also, whose spirit generously motivates him, v'hevin mida'ato, and he understands from his mind, he badel, to separate himself, la'amol lifnei Hashem l'sharso la'ovdo, to stand before Hashem and to minister to him, to serve him, l'dea es Hashem, to know God. Okay, v'halach yashar kamo she'asahu ha'elokim, and he walks upright, he walks straight the way that God made him. Ufarak me'al tzavaro ol ha'cheshbonos harabim asher bikshu b'nei adam, and he removes from upon his neck the yoke of the calculations of the masses that people seek. Okay, which by the way is a reference to, this is my my pitch for why you should know Tanakh. But many times the Mefarshim will the Rishonim will quote a pasuk, but this is not quoting the pasuk. This is paraphrasing the pasuk, and I only know this because I learned Koheles. Is that the only problem is where is it in Koheles? Just give me a second.
It's not 12 or not.
It's not 12. It's a Hema Bikshu Chishbonos Ravim. I think it's in 4. That's going to be my bet, but I could be wrong about this. What was that?
Never guess.
But you feel so good when you. Oh, it's in 7. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, it's a victory because now I know. Okay. So, Levad re'ezeh matasi asher asa ha'elokim es adam yashar. So God made man straight, upright. Vehima bikshu chishbonos ravim, and they seek many calculations. Okay. So, and I think, is it Ibn Ezra who gives the pirush I like? Nope. Okay. I don't know who gives the explanation I like. I'm not going to look for it now. So this to me Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't finish reading it. Harizes, that person, he's Kaddish Kodesh Kodashim. He becomes sanctified as the Holy of Holies. And God will be his portion and his inheritance forever. He will merit in this world that which is enough for him, just like the Kohanim and Levim get. Hari David Omer, Hashem chelki v'kosi atat tomech gorli. Hashem, you are my portion and my, I think kosi here means another word for portion, not cup. You support my lot. Okay, so that description here of there. So all right, what do you get from this? Is that I'll read that part again. That he walks upright the way that God made him, and he takes off from his neck the yoke of the many calculations that people seek.
What was the question?
What does that mean to you?
Oh.
Yeah.
I
I feel, by the way, I feel like it touches on a lot of what people said, but yeah.
I think that like he strives for what's laid out in the Torah rather than like what society tells him that he should.
Okay, so I do think that this is Torah, maybe yes, but definitely rejecting the standards imposed from society and its value systems. Yeah.
The Tavot Ha'olam are really just a burden, like something that's a yoke upon.
Right,
actually
right.
freeing. It's-
Yeah. Okay. Right. So Ariel, don't crash.
Actually, I just parked. I'm gonna walk.
Okay,
in,
did
so
okay. I wanted to create drama, but go ahead. Yeah. Your hand is raised though, right? Unless that was a mistake. Okay. All right. Whatever. All right. I think what it means is that he is. So God made him upright, which means that you have certain needs, right? Physical needs, psychological needs, intellectual needs. And the problem is that you mix up your needs with your wants, and then your wants get blown out of proportion from fantasy generated usually from society, So that is a yoke, it's a burden, you can't attain it. That's the whole Rambam that Isaac likes quoting in the Morning Nevuchim about like, if you get, golden goblets, then if silver goblets, you're going to want gold. If you get golden goblets, you're going to want emerald, and it just keeps going infinitely, he's here. Okay. So I think that that's the Tamimos also, is that he's walking simply because really your needs are very simple. Like your actual needs are very simple, but they get made more complex because of all the fantasies and the neurotic tendencies and like what society demands and stuff like that. So I think that's like the simplicity. I think I would say simplicity is the term here. Yeah. So again, I think this encompasses lots of ideas, but let's just say, I'm just going to use the Radak's words for a summary here, is he engages in the world in a derech tamimus, not going into depth in strategies. What was the phrase for the mamik in the machshavos takbulas olam? Yeah, in strategies of the world. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll leave that there. Yes, the belt. Thank you for translating. Yeah. Okay. The elam. Okay. All right. So that's one quality. Okay, maybe we will do this next time. All right. No, but you know what this is like though? This is like learning like a bunch of Mishlei Pesukim. Okay. Like, not that I'm complaining about that. Yeah. Like yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Exactly. Yeah. This is a portrait of a person who can get an olam haba. Okay. All right. So you can already see. I mean, I know we're not going to do this in depth right now, but how might this contribute to getting into olam haba on a simple level?
Pursuing the proper things.
Well, it's interesting because he's not talking about pursuing the proper things here, right?
Relate to the physical world in the proper manner.
Right. Yeah. So it has to do with not relating to the physical world in an overly attached way, which is going to be a precondition to being able to do the positive stuff, which presumably he's going to tell us. Okay. Next, Poel Tzedek, he acts righteously. Shekol Masav Yaseh B'Tzedek. Great. All his actions he does with tzedek. V'toros ha'adam, and the laws of man. What does the footnote say about that? Seder u'mitchunas hanhagas ha'adam. Okay, the systems of man. I don't know what that is referring to. He refers to 1:1. Was it?
Like the waves of society?
I don't know if he means that. Like, I'm confused about he's not. Oh no, he's gonna say, I'll save lotase. Okay, so he means the Torah. I don't know why he's saying it as toros as opposed to like mitzvos or something. I'll say lotase v'hema shlosha panim. They're in three. The assays and losses are in three facets, modes. Echad b'maaseh, echad b'lashon, echad b'lev. I think this is a classic distinction, right? Is that all mitzvahs are governed, actually, yeah, all mitzvahs are governing actions, speech, and mind or heart, right? The Ibn Ezra has a whole thing on that, about how like certain mitzvahs are there. We also do certain mitzvahs in action, which are designed to promote certain speech, which ultimately are for the lave. You know what I'm talking about? There's a great Ibn Ezra on this. I'll have to find it later. I'm not going to look for it now. Hine zachar maseh v'dover. So, and it is mentioning maseh in Yaseh Tzedek. So this is a little vague, right? He's saying everything you do is with tzedek. That seems like you were saying, like extremely general. And he's saying like the Toros Adam and Yasays and Los Asays. Yeah.
Is he limiting those actions to be only mitzvahs? Is that what he's saying? Like
that's what I'm not sure.
Referring to mitzvahs?
That's what I'm not sure. It almost feels like there is a like there should be a period here. I know there was no such thing as punctuation then, but Toros Adam. No, the Toros Adam Asay v'lo taseh. Yes, yeah. I don't know what the Kol Masav Yaseh B'Tzedek sounds like beyond just mitzvahs, right? Kol Masav. But then he's going back and saying that in the Torah, things fall into these three categories, and this Poel Tzedek is in the category of action. I don't. Let's let him talk and see where he's going with this. But the other thing that slightly does anything bother you about him saying Kol Masav Yaseh B'Tzedek? Okay, it is just Maaseh, but it sounds like he's saying there's going to be other ones.
Everything is second.
Yeah, everything you do is B'Tzedek.
Yeah.
So to me, maybe this is weird. All you need to do to get into Olam Haba is just do everything but tzedek. You know, like it does seem like, I don't know, like not attaching yourself too much to this world. I understand it's also very big, but that seems to be like a general orientation towards the world. But saying every action do righteously sounds overly particularized, you know? And maybe he doesn't mean that. Maybe he just means like that tzedek is a characteristic of your actions. Maybe I shouldn't be bothered by it. Yeah, Tamar?
I guess another question is like, are all things really like tzedek related? Like, can you actually are there actions that it seems to me like there would be actions that you could do that aren't really like relevant to tzedek? And I don't know if that matters for this, but like.
Yeah, so my understanding of tzedek, just to quote the Rambam in the Morning Wisdom 354, I think, 3. You the Rambam in, hold on, I quoted this in my Yeshus Chayil share, that's why I'm more confident in it, but evidently not so confident. And I also only quote this like the most quoted thing in the Morning Wisdom for me. It's I always have to forget it though.
Perfections.
No, not the perfections, the definition of chesed, mishpat, and tzedakah. 53. I always forget if it's 53 or 54.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is 53 then. Yeah. I should use one of Ken's mnemonics. 53. Then I'll remember it. All right, so it is in, yeah. Yeah, that's the whole idea of Ken's mnemonic. Okay, so it is in, hold on. Am I just doing this again and again? Oh yeah, 353, there it is. Okay, as for the term tzedakah, it is derived from tzedek, which is the Arabic term. Tzedakah refers to giving something to someone to whom it is owed, or to give to any existing thing that which is befitting for it. And then he goes on to explain that anytime you do an action that is in line with good midos, then it's called tzedakah because you're doing tzedek to your rational soul. So he definitely is including all midos in tzedek. And he's also saying that any action you do to any other existing creature is b'tzedek, you know. He says kol matsui. I find it hard to believe that that's talking about rocks, because I think you can't do a tzedek to a rock. I think the rock is just governed by the laws of nature. Oh, you got to use all the chairs because that's like related to according to nature. Just never get up from your seat. You got to sit. Yeah.
When you're interacting with it in the proper way. Don't
okay. Yeah, it could be. It could be.
That could be like I don't know.
Yeah. The reason why I'm also all right, whatever. Yeah. All right. I'm not going to get into that. So to answer your question, Tamar, I think if not everything could be. Yeah, I think everything could be pathetic because you also have to act in line with your Tzelem Elokim, and that is pathetic.
That would be acting rationally,
Yeah, it would be acting rationally, and it would also be acting ethically, yeah. Okay, so let's go on though. This one is going to be big. Amar shehu dover emes. So this is dover emes bilvavo is the whole phrase, but dover emes lo'olam lo yimtza sheker b'dvar. So there should not be any falsehood in his words. Okay, so that's pretty pashut. Va'emes shedaber b'fiv hu bilvavo, and the truth that he speaks with his mouth is also in his heart. Ki eno omer echad b'pev echad b'leiv. Right, you should not be saying one thing and having another thing in his heart. Ukmo shedivrei piv emes kain hein machshavos lavavo. And just as the words of his mouth are true, so too the thoughts of his heart. Okay. V'nichla gam kain bazesh amar v'dover emes bilvavo. So included in this is sheikayim masha machashiv bilvavo lasos tova. He carries out that which he thinks in his heart to do. V'zeh b'inyan maso matan. That's in his business. Klomar ein tzarach lomar ki masha medaber b'fiv makayim. Not only does he fulfill what he says, ela afilu masha choshev makayim. V'yasim emes machshavtos. So that's like the Kriya Shema case that Rapesach mentioned, that we mentioned on Monday night, of the guy who was saying Kriya Shema, and then someone was trying to make a sale to him and thought that the guy who was saying Shema rejected his sale, but the guy was really just saying Shema, so he couldn't interrupt. So the guy kept on like lowering the price. And then when the guy got done saying the Shema, he said, I accepted the price mentally the first time you said it, and so I'm going to stick with that, even though like you bargained it down and I could take advantage of you. So like he went with what his original thought was. So that's that's going beyond sticking to your word. Okay, but then he just throws in v'nichla bo gamkin mitzius hakel v'yichudo shehu emes. Okay, so also God's existence and oneness, which is truth. V'dover oso b'fiv, and he speaks about it with his mouth. V'choshev oso bilvavo, and he thinks about it in his heart. Lahavinu al derech hamoves. And to understand it by way of proof, Torah as Chachma indicates. So this is a lot of stuff. You speak truthfully, you say what is in your heart, so you're not echad b'lev. What is in your heart is true. You follow through with what you say and what's in your heart, and then all your ideas you have the Yesodei HaTorah, which you have proven. Okay, so like. That's very heavy, and I just want to read this beautiful description of parts of this, which is, there's an idea of integrity in, like people say, how would you define integrity? Like just the way people use it. Yeah, there's a certain consistency. I think it's a certain type of consistency, right? Like if you are consistently evil, yeah, right. There's a certain like true to your values, right? So this, I think, up until now, maybe this is going to be better, but this was the best definition of integrity that I've seen. This is the Rabinu in Pekуда in the Chovos Hallelujah. Maybe this is on the old blog. It is necessary for you to know that the aim and objective of the duties of the heart is for our outer and inner selves to be equal and correspondent in serving Hashem, to the extent that the heart, tongue, and limbs, there you see that triplicate division again, are consistent in their testimony, that they authenticate each other and testify to one another rather than oppose and contradict each other. This is what the Torah calls tamim, okay, wholehearted, as in tamim tihye im Hashem, you should be wholehearted with Hashem your God, or tamim haya b'dorosav, he was wholehearted in his generation, or look at this, he who acts wholeheartedly does what is right and speaks the truth that is in his heart. Okay, so what's our pasuk? I contemplate the wholehearted path. When will I attain it? I will conduct myself with the wholeness of heart within my own house. Regarding one whose inside is not like his outside, who's not toho kavaro, the Torah says his heart was not whole with Hashem. They flattered him with their mouths and they lied to him with their tongues, meaning to God, and their hearts were disloyal to him. It is well known that if someone is internally inconsistent or deceitful, whether in speech or in deed, people no longer believe in his integrity and have no confidence in his sincerity. Similarly, if our outer and inner selves oppose each other, if the intention of our hearts does not match our speech, if the actions of our limbs are at odds with our internal thoughts, then our worship of God is incomplete. For God does not accept counterfeit service. Okay, as it is written, I cannot tolerate iniquity along with holy assembly. For I, God, love justice. I despise robbery and a burnt offering. When you offer blind animals for sacrifice, is that not evil? When you offer those that are lame or sick, is that not evil? Try presenting it to your governor. Will he be pleased with you or show you favor? To obey is better than a choice sacrifice. To listen is better than the fat of rams. So this is a really good definition of tamim, which is your actions, your speech, and your heart are consistent with each other, and they're all consistent with reality. Consistency, but consistency between the internal world and with the internal world and the external world. So it's like it's a greater definition of integrity than like our society's definition. I don't think our society cares about the integrity with reality. It just cares about integrity with yourself or people trusting you, So I think this is like in line with the Radak is saying, so I'm going to type that in here is full integrity, okay, internal harmony between action, speech, and thought, and harmony of the self with reality. Okay.
Are you saying that the Dover Emes Bilvavo is going back on Holech Tamim, or because we're not talking about Holech Tamim now, we're talking about something else?
Oh, so you're right. That is the difference between the Baki and Pekуда, who emphasizes action, and the only way the Radak emphasizes action is you follow through in what you say, but he doesn't say that his actions are in line with reality. That would seem to be more of the pull tzedek, But I am getting the sense that like the first. Well, I don't know about the first three. These two definitely seem to be interrelated, Yeah.
I was gonna say it seems like the first three are all coming or like. Actually, can you go back to what you were just on a second ago?
The document.
Yeah, the document. So like the first one seems to be like the internal.
Yeah.
Maybe the second one is like the external portion of like two halves of the same coin. That the third one is just like the full picture of like how he relates internally to like doubts to like the Olam Hazeh, the first pasuk, how he relates externally to like other people, I guess is the second pasuk. Mm-hmm. And then the third pasuk is like how he like
okay, I see that. That's a good scheme. I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, onward. Okay. We probably should not try to finish this tonight. Okay. Lo ragal al lashono. B'zeh pasuk amar mitzvahs lo taseh b'lashon uv'maseh. Now it's talking about the mitzvahs lo taseh in speech and in action. Okay, that's weird also. This is because it's a regal on his tongue. No. About the lave lo hayat sarach last year does not need to mention lave ki kvar amar v'dover emes bilvavo. Okay, it's a little convoluted. It's convoluted in my mind. Like he's going back and forth. V'imach shavosav, and if his thoughts emes v'tzedek are true and righteous, ein rabba machshavosav, then there's no evil in his thoughts. V'amar lo ragal al lashono v'lo amar sha'ar lo taseh shein b'lashon. So it only is mentioning that he doesn't speak lashon hara, but it doesn't mention other losases of the lashon, like don't lo tane brecha et shaker, right? Don't testify falsely. Elohim lo sakalel, don't curse God or curse the judge. But don't lehen. Why? Ki amar osa shi emes v'koshkein hacheros. So it's using lashon hara because lashon hara is a true speech. Kavachomer, false speech. Okay. Ki rechilus afal pishu hi emes rechilus, even though it's true, yatsa ra gadol b'mena. There's bad, tremendous ra that comes from it. Ulefisha amar v'dover emes b'vavo amar ki ha-emes shihi ra'a lo yidaber v'hi ha-rechilus. Okay, so he's saying he doesn't speak rechilus. Okay, so this is also simple, but again, this seems to be very particular compared to the last two. Is he doesn't do any evil with his speech, even when the speech is true, kal vachomer when it's false. Okay, yeah. Oh man, it's very hard to see how this is going to come to a picture of Olam Haba, but we gotta go. We gotta take him at his word here. Lo asa l're'ehu ra v'cheper lo nasa al krovo. Okay, so he does not do evil to his friend. Oh, he's putting this into one, and he doesn't bear shame or disgrace over his relative. So he doesn't take it as an actual relative. He says someone who you're doing business with or who's your neighbor. So not krovo, but someone who's like in proximity to you, not like relative. Oh, I gotta mention one thing from the Meiri, just token Meiri thing. He said another thing that was like just an interesting thing. He quoted, I'll just read it here because he's right next door. He says, for Ferbelosa Krovo, Ezehu Chil Hashem, what is a Chil Hashem? Kol Shechaverav Misbaishin Mishmuaso. Anything that your friends would be embarrassed to hear about you. It was a really interesting standard for Chil Hashem. I've never heard that before in all the stuff of Chil Hashem. What was that?
Where is that?
That is in Yuma. Yeah.
It's just like people have different standards.
Yeah, right.
So-
Yeah, but like that's just it's interesting barometer of like, you know, like if my friends would be embarrassed to hear this about me, then yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a very interesting thing. Okay,
I mean,
anyway.
there has to be some objectivity on that now. Like,
Well, no, that's the whole point of Chil Hashem is that it doesn't necessarily have to do with objectivity. It has to do with what you're doing to the Shem Hashem in the world.
oh, it's meaning specific to Shem. Meaning like if one person has no shame and the other person has shame, what does that mean?
Wait. Are you using the English word shame or the Hebrew word shin mem?
Whatever. So I thought.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Very confusing already.
Okay, yeah. No, but what I'm saying is like that's why the Rambam emphasizes in Yesodei Torah that if you are a total chassid and you keep all the mitzvos, but you do something that's not an avera, but that makes people have a bad impression of you, then you're creating a bad reputation for the deity in the world, you know? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so he's saying in so this is talking about someone who you're doing business with. With Omro Kilo Asa Lerehu Ra, when it says he doesn't do evil to his friend. See, it sounds like a very low bar, right? Like he doesn't do evil to his friend. That's what gets you into Olam Haba. Eno Omer Kila Acherim Asa does not mean that he does evil to others. Ella Diber Kasubahova. The Torah is just talking about the normal case. Kamo Loton Ish Es Amito. Eno Omer Ki Mutter Lo Lahonos Adam Asher Hu Nachri. So when it says no person should how is fair how to translate tonu?
Afflict? Yeah,
afflict. Is there a monetary word that is also used for like onas devarim? What's the what? Yeah, to rip off, like to cheat, So scam, yeah. So it says don't scam a member of your people. It doesn't mean that it's mutter to scam a nafri, okay? But it's just using the normal case, right? Okay. Lo tane brecha et shakir, ino omer kiba acher. What was that? Eno omer ki ba'acher she'eno reo mutar lahayid edu sheker. It doesn't mean that you are allowed to testify falsely about someone who's not your friend. So it doesn't mean he doesn't do evil to anybody. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I said, did the Gemara say that like even charging interest to a guy? Like
yeah, well that's gonna be on the charging interest pasuk. Oh, were you guys doing that Gemara?
Yeah,
okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
The Gemara actually like attaches like characters in the Navi.
Yeah, right. We read the Gemara last time. Yeah. Okay, or we looked at it. Yeah, with Omro. So far I'm bothered because Poel Tzedek means you're doing everything but Tzedek. So now why we need to go back and say you're not doing evil to your friend? Yeah, I'm missing something here. Okay, there you go. So all the mitzvahs lo taseh ben amul chavero here. Okay, if you say so. All right, so all mitzvos lo ta'aseh ben adam lachavero. I know, right? You know what this is sounding like? This is sounding like his version of the Gemara, where it's like taking all of Torah and condensing it to 11 things. You know, that's what bothers me is, and maybe it shouldn't bother me, but like he made it sound like the neshama ha'alyona will be in Olam Haba if you do this, you know. But like, yeah, it is true. Yeah.
If it's all the mitzvahs lo taseh, where is he? Why was he talking about the not like scamming people and like what was the deal with those specific examples? How do they fit into the picture?
So. Good question. Yeah, why do you even go into that?
Because he's saying those are the cherpa, but the other part is talking.
Let's see. We didn't do the cherpa. Yeah, let's see. Cherpa lo nas al provo shlochirif v'gidif adam. So I guess he wasn't explaining that earlier. Yeah, no.
Including the previous lesson one, he doesn't do any harmful speech.
Right. Yeah. Right. That wouldn't be included in bin al chavero, right? Yeah, that's a good question. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Well, what was it? Lo rago lo shon.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That would seem to be in Bein Adam L'Chavero. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, let's go Oren Ayala and then finish the Sibra Moscow and stop for tonight. Yeah.
For Ufal said it. Maybe he's being pedantic on like Masim, like specifically. Like, out of the three, it's not everything that it is. So with this isn't a Masa. This is talking.
Okay, right. So that would help with that, but it still seems like Lashon Hara is included in Mitzvahs Lo Taseh Bein Adam L'Chavero though.
Right.
Yeah, and this he's saying is coal. Yeah, Ella?
Would the second pasuk also, like the things that we're describing from the second pasuk, be included already in the first pasuk, or are these different points? I mean, I know they're more specified, but are they like not included?
Wait, so just tell me what you're talking about here.
So let's say the chart.
On the chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would the ones that we just did, like lo ragal, lashona, lo asalare raha,
Yeah.
would those not fall under vidover emes bilvavo?
Okay, right.
It's more of a
It does seem to be, yeah,
specification.
yeah. So that would be a way out for something, right? That there's like nesting qualities, right? Like they're more specific. Yeah, yeah, like yeah.
But it does seem like the Tehilim, I mean, like David Melch is characterizing each pasuk as its own individual trait, so how can it be nested?
That yeah, no, we'd have to explain why it's doing that. But I'm saying like in terms of the redundancy of the categories, it would like help with the redundancy problem. Yeah, but it doesn't help with the whole pair. Yeah.
Especially given the fact that he said Torah, so all mitzvahs say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So now I just gotta look back at that again really quickly. When he said all mitzvahs say. Yeah, but I think now. Oh yeah, he did say asay and lo tasay. You're right.
Yeah. So that makes a question further then about why is he bringing up lo tasay again?
Right. Yeah, it's difficult, Radak. All right, let's finish the Dibra Moskil. V'cherpa lo nasa al krovo shluchir v'gidef adam. He has not insulted or blasphemed, cursed any person. Alpha pishu gadafehu oheralo. Even though the guy insulted him or did evil to him. Okay, fine. So he doesn't retaliate against the person. But Amar Nasa benetilas halashon kamo lo tisa Hashem halashav lo tisa Hashem hashav. Okay, so it's just using that to mean to say, I guess. Okay, Amro krovo hu hadin la'acher. Okay, so it says krovo, but it means another person. Also, ela shadibra al hahovek brashna. It's using the normal case, like we said. V'kirbo, wait, kirbo. Krovo re'ehu shu karove lab b'masav matana. He's repeating himself now. O shcheno o karov hashe'er kidivra adam ve'iskav brov im elu. It's not like he repeated himself. I feel like this Radak is not buffering. Like I feel like it's yeah. Like I feel there's some sort of glitch in it. What was that? Yeah, but that wasn't a full repetition. This is like almost the exact same point. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I mean, let's hope it comes together next time. Well, hopefully I'll have time to prepare with Ken. But yeah, it's challenging. But I mean, I think we have to go through each of these pasukim in order to get anything. So Radak it's Radak and Meiri. Maybe we should run with Meiri. We'll see. Yeah.
That's fun.
I mean, it's fun. It's definitely fun. I'm not saying it's not fun, but it's challenging. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's all for tonight. And I guess we'll do this next time. Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Good night.